Now, before we do this, let's go over the ground rules. Rule number 1. No touching of the hair or face.
Of course.
And that's it!
You play as a unicorn.
I see assholes like you every day.
Every fucking day. Think you gonna get away with it? Not up in here!
Not up in here!
Ma, the meatloaf!
Unfortunately, I think the amateur status of the company has come through, and they bit off more than they could chew.
And I feel totally embarrassed about that whole scenario.
Welcome to Game Theory. Join me, your host Souls, and my co-hosts, Tastes Like Chicken, Hey Carnut, and Lemon, as we discuss the latest gaming topics. Oh no. Oh no! I did it again.
Steve! Do something with this guy, please!
Hey everyone, and welcome to GameTheoryCast number 13. My name is Souls, and joining me today, as always, are my co-hosts, El Chicken and Hey Carnut. Welcome, guys. Also, I am very excited to introduce Chris Lawley, co-founder of Adhesive Games. Welcome, Chris.
Hey, thanks.
He is going to join us to talk about Hawken. Hey guys, and welcome everyone.
Thanks for having me.
Greetings.
Howdy.
Alright, so Chris, let's talk a little bit about Hawken, shall we? Or actually about your career. Let's start off with that, sorry. What got you started in game development?
Well, I went to school for 3D animation. I've always been interested in animation, and I always wanted to get into games. But my first kind of industry job was on a project called Project Offset, which was a fantasy FPS that was being developed with its own engine, and that's kind of how I got into the industry.
So you've always been kind of interested in games from a young age?
Oh yeah, I always knew I wanted to make my own games one day. It's just a matter of what aspect I would work on, and I ended up in animation.
That's cool. You think, Cedric? What question next?
Well, I'd just like to say, as somebody that was interested in Project Offset, glad to see you guys move on to a different title. Bummed that Project Offset never happened, but it's good to see you guys still kept going making games. About Hawken, what is it that is going to make this game unique?
Well, the fact that it's, when we first came up with the idea for Hawken, the mech scene was fairly dead. So we were thinking that alone would be pretty unique, but we wanted to put a spin on the mech genre that wasn't completely arcadey, like Virtual On or something like that, and we didn't want to be like Die Hard, Steel Battalion simulation, punishing kind of game. So we just kind of wanted to make a mech game that felt like you were in a mech, but that was fun to play and fast-paced. And I don't think too many people have done that well, so hopefully that's something different about our game.
Sounds like you've accomplished. I mean, you've got how many videos on YouTube do you guys have so far?
We have a couple gameplay trailers, and also like a little story teaser. There's 2 that are actually like first-person gameplay.
Cool. I know one at least has over 1 million views. Is that correct?
Yeah, our first-person gameplay video is like I think it's like 1.2 million views now or something. It's really really been quite a surprise to us.
So, walk us through a day working at Adhesive Games.
Sure. We're a pretty small team still. We started out with 5 people, and now we've about doubled that. We're a pretty tight knit group of guys, so it's a little bit laid back in the sense that we're all friends, and we can kind of just we flow kind of organically with our work. We don't like sit down and schedule out like minute details and micromanage everything. We kind of just figure out what we need to do, talk to each other, and get it done, and we work pretty efficiently that way.
Cool. And how many people work at your studio approximately?
We just recently, I think we're up to 12 people now.
Oh wow, you guys are churning it out pretty quickly. What are, as you are an animator, what are the challenges you face in animating mechs? Because, I mean, we don't have any mechs in the real world, obviously.
Yeah, animating robots is kind of not too tricky because you don't have to make them look organic, which is hard to do. You just, making things look robotic isn't too hard. But the tough thing for me is trying to give a sense of weight and, that feeling of scale and weight to the mechs when our game is so fast paced, because I can't take time to, with the animations to have, when you land, you really have that sense of this big machine coming down, weighing tons and dodging left and right. It's so quick. You only have a few frames so that the player feels like the game is responsive. So it's really hard to try and convey that and still have the game be as fast as it is.
Absolutely. Chicken, oh, sorry, go on.
Yeah, you mentioned the size of the mechs. Just to get some sort of concept of the size of the world and the mechs that you're playing, what sort of like height and weight are these mechs?
Yeah, that's a good question. They're not as giant as like Mech Warrior size mechs. They're not like multi-story lumbering machines. They're kind of like I guess an average size would probably be like 18 feet tall, maybe. Like it's kind of like your cockpit would be like the size of a minivan, and then you've got like legs and arms. So maybe I think we were thinking around like 15 to 20 tons and maybe 15 to 20 feet tall.
All right, cool. So they still pack some weight. So when they move around and stuff, ultimately your world has to kind of interact with them, but still not super huge. They can still move quite quickly then.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, go on.
No, I was just going to ask, when I first saw the video for Hawken, I was immediately interested in the game, and then you guys announced you're going free to play. What are some of the reasons why you guys decided to go that route?
Yeah, there were a few reasons, but the model just kind of really fit with what we wanted to do. That I'd say like one of the big factors for going free to play was just we kind of had a fear that as a multiplayer only game, we wouldn't have the player base to keep the game alive long enough. That's key to multiplayer games, is having enough people to make the matchmaking good, and being able to play matches with good ping and whatnot. So offering the game for free to anyone is like the best possible way to make sure a lot of people are playing your game. And also it was appealing to be able to kind of modify and update the game organically, as frequently as we wanted based on players' feedback. And with the free-to-play model, you can kind of do that. You can listen to the community and add what people want and tweak the game. And it's a little harder to do that, I think, when you're just doing a one-off release and maybe doing like one or two patches and then moving on to the next thing. Cool.
So the whole free-to-play sort of title comes with a few preconceptions, I would think. A lot of the earlier free-to-play models might not have been the nicest looking or most polished game. So are there any sort of hurdles like that you guys have had to overcome with the announcement that you're going free-to-play?
Yeah, I think free-to-play still has a kind of a negative connotation in North America. I think the rest of the world has kind of accepted it a little better, but there's kind of like this stigma of pay to win. You know, whoever pays the most money is going to have a great advantage of the game, and you know, it can be done that way if you do it bad, if you do it the wrong way. But we're gonna kind of follow the philosophy of, well, looking at games like TF2 and League of Legends, I think they do it pretty well, and we're gonna try to follow that model where, you know, you can acquire the items that you pay for just through playing the game. You can earn them. So it's kind of an investment of, you know, either time or money. Which one do you want to spend? And I think in some ways the free-to-play model kind of keeps developers honest too, because, you know, with like a retail game, you can throw a ton of money into marketing and have ads on TV and these great pre-rendered cinematics, and people will probably plunk down $60 just based off of that. A certain amount of people will, but you know, with a free-to-play game, you need that marketing to get them to play the game, but you're not gonna make a dime if the game isn't good. No one's gonna keep playing it. So you know, there's more incentive to make your game good, I guess. I don't know if that answered your. I think I started rambling.
No, it did.
No,
it did.
That kind of touched on my next question. Just sort of wondering how the free-to-play model will work. Games like Battlefield Heroes, you basically rent the items, and as a customer item, it kind of pisses me off a little bit when I have to buy 40 different items to do something. Are you guys going to offer like packages of items? You spend $20, you get this much. If you want everything, you spend $50. Any sort of plans for something like that?
Yeah, I get too specific with the details, not because I'm like trying to keep it a secret, but just because we're still working that stuff out ourselves. But I think we'll definitely listen to the community and what they want, but I'm sure we'll be able to offer like a kind of like a package thing where you get a lot of content, or you don't have to pay for anything if you want. We'll have plenty of items that you can use. I think what you'll be paying for more is like variety and play styles if you want, or you can try, like I said, you'll be able to earn things just through playing the game. So I don't have all the specifics on how we're gonna do everything, but I think it'll be, we'll listen to what the fans say, and I think there'll be a lot of different options for people.
So it sounds like you're going to take more of a, you mentioned Team Fortress 2 and League of Legends. It sounds like you're going to take more of a League of Legends approach. Like, if you want, you can buy this, but you can also earn it as well, and it may not impact the game. It'll just make you pretty or something, basically. Or more decorated. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, I think it'll be a little bit of both. We'll have definitely a lot of visual customization and aesthetic things that you can pay for if you want, but it won't affect the gameplay at all. Like I don't know, just like camo packs or certain armor attachments or whatever. But we'll also probably be offering a greater variety of weapons and things that do affect the gameplay, but those things you would also be able to earn through just playing the game.
Right, okay. What is the weapon balance like in terms of, or is there going to be any in terms of free versus paid customers?
Well, yeah, that's kind of what I'm talking about. Is we don't want you to be able to pay to win. So we're not gonna unbalance the game. We're gonna offer different kind of weapons that are still balanced that you can buy, or you know, the key to the whole game is going to be keeping it balanced. So we definitely don't want to ruin that. The large majority of players in free-to-play games don't pay for things, so we need to make it fun for everyone, and we're going to do our best to keep it balanced.
Cedric?
Yeah, just sort of breaking down into more specific questions about the game itself. What sort of game modes are you guys going to offer?
So we'll have the standard deathmatch, team deathmatch. We have a couple modes that we haven't really announced yet, but the one that we have shown publicly, and that's kind of the main focus of the game, is called Siege Mode. And basically it's a team mode where each team has a base, and you have to collect resources on the map. The object is to destroy the other team's base, obviously. And you do that by launching a giant battleship, which you can see in a couple of our videos, the giant ship overhead shooting down and raining fire on people. But to launch the battleship, you have to kind of collect resources at strategic points in the map. So there's a lot of teamwork required and strategy and kind of like a back and forth between the two teams controlling resources and then getting it back to their base to launch their battleship.
Is that kind of like a little bit of almost like Battlefield Conquest or Capture the Flag hybrid, sort of?
Yeah, a little bit. There's elements of a few different game modes in this one game mode, and then your objective kind of shifts throughout the match, which is fun. You know, from collecting resources to guarding resources to escorting your ship to shooting down the other guy's ship. So there's a lot of different elements at play, but it's really fun, and it's really fun to work with your team in that way.
Cool. And is this going to be server-based, or is this going to be peer-to-peer, or neither?
It's going to be dedicated servers. We're I don't have all the details on that available right now, but yeah, it's not going to be P2P for the time being.
Okay, so is there anything you do know about the servers, like what sort of features we can look forward to? How many players in a server, that type of thing?
We're definitely going to have matchmaking, a good matchmaking system, and I don't think we've released the actual number of players, but the most fun number that when we play test is around 6 versus 6. But I'm not sure what the upper limits of that is going to be right now.
We have a question from our audience for you. Does the game have a squad system like Battlefield, says I Am Greek?
Squad system, I actually haven't played Battlefield myself, but we're going to have clans if that's what you're referencing.
Basically, are you be able to join squads and voice communicate with them? Or like, is there going to be like an interface for squads and stuff?
I think that is the plan. We don't have voice communication at the moment. We're kind of still in development, but we definitely are going to put a lot of emphasis on squads and clans and having people be part of their own teams with their own insignias or custom designs on their mechs and stuff like that. So we want to have that feeling of you being part of a squadron or clan or whatever you want to call it.
So is this clan system kind of like you decorate your mech to affiliate with other people that are like-minded individuals and stuff?
Yeah, you can. The idea is to have plenty of visual customization, so you decals or just camo schemes or whatever you want to feel like an individual or to conform to a group you're in. It should be up to the player.
Okay. Cedric?
Just hang on a second.
Oh, you know what? I'll do this one. I've gotten a few questions about this. Since you did say it is server-based, how many players are there going to be in the server, just out of curiosity?
Well, as I mentioned, we've kind of been focusing a lot of our play testing on like 6-on-6 kind of team battles, but in death matches we've had a lot more than that, and I'm not sure what the exact number is going to be right now.
So is that just based on sort of map size, or is that limitations of the game you guys are building, or what exactly?
I'd say it's more a map size and just kind of what's fun before it starts getting a little too chaotic. It's it's not fun when you're just kind of getting randomly ganked from all sides. So that just seems like a good number for us right now. But that's not that'll be a final limit or anything like that.
All right, Toby in the chat wanted to know number of maps on release.
Cannot give you a number right now, but we do have quite a few maps already available. I'll give you a ballpark figure of probably around 4 or 5 on release, and then steadily adding more.
Okay, so is there going to be some sort of integration with end-user mapping tools or some sort of SDK that the community can add their own content to the game?
I would love to do that. We haven't spent too much thought on it yet, just because we're trying to finish the game on our own. But I would definitely like to get the community involved in whatever way we can through modding or whatever. I'm just not sure. We haven't really addressed that yet.
Was there any debate over what engine to go with? I know there's a lot of there's at least 2 or 3 engines, including the Unreal Engine. There's also CryEngine and Unity. Was there any discussion over what engine to go with, or were you pretty dead set on the UDK/Unreal Engine?
We did debate about it a little bit, but just the fact alone that we were making an FPS, we kind of lean towards UDK from the start, the Unreal Engine. We talked a little bit about Unity, but yeah, the Unreal just kind of lent itself to our game style the best, and it seemed like the most robust and stable choice. You know, it's widely used, and that's one we went with.
Is it pretty easy to use well?
Yeah, it's surprisingly easy to just kind of get in there and start tinkering with stuff and adding stuff like right off the bat. It's a pretty robust engine, and there's a lot of documentation for it. You can download UDK for free. So yeah, it's actually really easy to use. It gets more complicated when you're trying to, edit the actual code and do scripting and stuff like that, but it's really easy just to replace assets and get things running quickly. That's one reason we chose it, was we could prototype the game really quickly right at the start.
And for anyone that hasn't heard the beta date, could you say it?
Yeah, it's easy to remember. It's 12/12/12, December 12th of this year. That's the open beta date, but we'll be doing a closed beta earlier than that. We just haven't announced the date yet.
So,
okay.
Yeah, just to touch on the beta thing, there was a huge announcement about the beta sign up. What sort of marketing did you guys throw behind that, and whose idea was the whole sign up thing for that? Because you guys had crazy number of hits on that.
Yeah, we had I think we had over 100,000 people register just in one day. So that was really, really successful. It was a nice surprise. But yeah, you'd be surprised at just how word can spread just through the social media sites. We have this publishing arm that we set up from, we've got a group of people in Seattle who are doing the marketing and going to be publishing our game. And it's basically a group that we set up through Adhesive. We found these people to make this other kind of branch of Adhesive, which is the publishing group called Meteor Entertainment. And they did a really great job of getting the word out and setting up that beta registration site.
Are they the people that are distributing your game?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and it's not going to be on Steam or Origin. It's going to be I don't know. Is that self-published?
Yeah, it's self-published. We're still kind of looking at Steam and other avenues, but it'll be through the Meteor Entertainment group for now.
Okay. Sounds like you guys got quite quite a job on your shoulders to deliver this product. It sounds like how long have you been working on it for?
It's been a little less than years. I'd say about like maybe 18 months to 20 months.
And were there originally 12 people, or was it only like 4 or 5 or?
Yeah, we started with 5 people, I think was the yeah, we started out with 5 people, and we probably within the first year we started bringing on some interns to help out with some of the art and stuff, and from there we've just kind of slowly grown. As the game got more popular, people were more interested in joining our team and stuff, and we brought some of the interns in full time now as team members, so we're up to 12 people now.
Should we be expecting any new trailers / content showcases in the next 4 to 5 months?
Yeah, for sure. We're gonna basically, I think GDC is coming up, and then of course there's E3 after that, and I think you can definitely look forward to seeing more footage of the game between those two events.
It's going to be interesting because traditionally E3 is it's very media centric around the console gaming segment. I don't usually. I mean, it used to be when PC gaming was a little bit. I don't know, more popular back in the day. It used to be very both console and PC, but it'll be interesting because I've never really seen a free-to-play game at E3. But
I think you're probably going to see a lot more of that this year.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot because League of Legends is. Have they been to E3? Do you know?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay. So, where is your office located, and what's it like working in that area?
So we're located in LA right now. We're in a town called Alhambra, which is kind of just southeast of Pasadena. But actually, in the next couple weeks, we're moving our offices actually into Pasadena. So it's a nice place. It's kind of it's a little out of the way from downtown LA, so it's a little more peaceful, and yeah, it's a nice place to work.
Is it? You know what's funny is I I live like 5 minutes from there, so but yeah, I love living here, and I'm sure you do too. It's like it's would you say it's pretty quiet?
Yeah, it's pretty quiet, but at the same time, there's enough going on to make it kind of a fun place to live. There's the, old towns. There's lots of good food around, and then you're just a short drive into, downtown LA and other areas. So yeah, you should come check out the studio sometime.
Definitely. We have a question from one of our guests. Toby54 asks, will there be mech classes, or are the differences based on weapon choices? Good question.
There are classes. We have three different mech classes. They're not classes necessarily like you would see like a sniper versus or like in TF2 there's like a pyro, or it's more the attributes of the mech, the speed of the mech. So there's a light, medium, and heavy mech. And the light mech is really fast but has low armor. It's a little bit smaller size. You have more fuel for boosting around. And then the heavy mech, of course, is heavily armored but really slow. And then you can further kind of augment those classes or kind of customize them more to your playstyle just by the weapons that you pick, whether you want to pick a sniper rifle or a shotgun style like flat cannon or whatever.
Now, do you level up in this game, or like how does this take place in terms of battling? Do you gain experience? How do you move up, or do you move up in the ranks?
Yeah, we will have a system where you kind of do rank up, so that's useful for matchmaking, and also there'll be certain kind of like upgrades you can make to your mech, but we also want to be careful not to make it so that there's a crazy learning curve when newbies are trying to play the game, where they're just getting slaughtered by the powered up veterans. So we want to have a system where you're progressing and earning things and feeling like you're accomplishing something, but not necessarily where you're getting these overpowered enhancements we want to keep the game kind of balanced for everyone, whether they're new to it or they've been playing for a while.
Absolutely. Cedric, did you have anything to add?
I think Rob has a question.
Sure. Rob?
Yeah, I'm curious about any kind of physics destruction simulation. Oprah jumping down the sidewalk's going to crack it. Do the mechs destroy things because of their 20-ton weight where appropriate?
I like maybe we'll name one of our mechs Oprah. We do have some destruction. We don't have fully destructible environments, like you can't blow up an entire building and watch it crumble and have the pieces interact with you. It's just, first of all, because of our team size, we don't have the resources to make everything fully destructible like that. But it's also a kind of resource hog on the engine, and we want to keep the gameplay fast and smooth. But we do have destructible props and pieces of the environment, like cars you can smash, and like bus stops and metal crates and street lights that you can kind of plow through, and they'll break apart and stuff. So you do feel like you're kind of rampaging through a city.
Cool. And second question, I don't know if you can talk about it. I poked around on the forums, and I noticed a post from Alexander Brandon offering his services. Assuming that wasn't a spoof, are you guys going to take him up on it?
Yeah, I actually just saw that. Hey, that's really awesome. For those of you who don't know, Alex Brandon was composed the music for like Unreal Tournament and Deus Ex, and he's a pretty big name in the industry. But we do have a full-time sound designer and composer. His name's Shadi, and he's really good. He did the music you saw in the YouTube videos for us.
Oh, nice.
So we're not really actively looking for more help in that department, but if there's some way we can collaborate, we'll definitely discuss that.
Cool.
Anything to add, Rob? All right.
No, I'm ready to play it.
Oh, yeah. I love. I just wanted to add. One of my first PC games was one of the original Mech Warriors, and I used to play that game with a joystick, and it was fun, man. This game reminds me of that in modern times. It's great. I mean, obviously the footage that you have shown us isn't finished. I mean, the anti-aliasing wasn't on or anything, but I mean the fun factor was definitely there. And Chris, I just wanted to thank you for hopping on such short notice. And I wanted to also thank my co-hosts, Hey Carnut and TL Chicken. You are more than welcome to come back on this cast, and thanks for being here, Chris.
Oh, it was a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Rob.
My pleasure.
All right, guys, and you can always listen to, for any of our new guests, you can always listen to us at GameTheoryCast.com and click on the podcast link every Saturday, second Saturday, at 1 o'clock p.m. Pacific Time and 9 o'clock p.m. UTC. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
So anyway, we're between banks right now. Just make those checks out to cash. Cave Johnson, we're done here.